Hi, welcome to Landscape of Mothers. I'm Jill Clifton. I'm here for this new question for Ask the Mothers today, which is, am I responsible for my mother's mental health? And I did a video about the mental health of partners. So when partners are experiencing trauma, what is our role in their healing work? And so I highly recommend going to look at that because there's some pieces there that I think could be helpful depending on your situation, on the details of your situation. But there's also a slightly different answer when it's a parent than when it's a partner. So when it's a partner, you are trying to work together. When it's a parent, what that can do often is if the parent expects you to fix their problems, then it can turn the tables and you're becoming the parent. And that relationship usually doesn't go super well. That is, it's usually full of the older person, the parent, actually feeling like they're being controlled or that or that you're demanding things of them. And so it tends to not go super great. The short answer, though, as to whether or not you're responsible for your mother's mental health is no. That is her responsibility. And whether or not she picks up that responsibility is a separate question entirely and is also based on her. So for someone to address their mental health issues, if they're relatively mild mental health issues, that is, they can be causing trouble in the relationship, but they're not dangerous to the life of other human beings, then that's really her responsibility. You can offer, I think questions are often the best way to approach this stuff. Do you want to know what I think about that? Do you want a resource that I think could help you? And trying to turn them onto their own resources as opposed to using you as a resource is a much better organization of that relationship. And because it puts the responsibility back on the parent. So often, I think a lot of parents of adult children are of a generation where there were not as many resources as there are now. And so sometimes they just don't know, right? They had an experience of kind of being stuck in their mental health as a child because there weren't resources. It was also, there's a lot of stigma about mental health issues. We're in a slightly, at least, different place now collectively. And so there are resources, there are ways that they can get the help that they need without relying on us to do it. So I think in general, Desert Mother comes up a lot around boundaries. I'm willing to give you suggestions, but I'm not willing to fix your problem. I'm willing to have these behaviors in my life and in my family, and I'm not willing to have these other things happen. And so there's boundaries, and you can think about boundaries in the sense really deeply. I think this is helpful, is to see them as expectation management, so that you are communicating with your parent what your expectations are and what they can expect from you. So it's expectation management on both sides. And that what that does is it really creates a sense that there's an ability to kind of bring each person back to themselves and to their own lives. Sometimes when parents are expecting us to deal with their mental health issues, we get this kind of entwinement. They become dependent. It changes the relationship. And we become their caretakers when they don't actually really want a caretaker. So by sort of thinking of boundaries as setting expectation management, or setting expectations or managing their expectations of you, like what you're willing to do and not do, that can be really helpful for kind of creating the image I use for this with my parents, because I had these struggles with both of my parents, was to kind of imagine that I built like a small garden, and what in that garden, like that when the two of us are together, we need to enter that garden, and there's certain plants in that garden, that is, that there's certain topics or conversation or behaviors that we can exhibit together and we can have a relationship. And then we both have parts of ourselves outside of this shared garden space. so that we start to see more clearly where we're willing to relate with these parents who are having struggles, and where we're not. So I hope that visualization helps you, and I hope the idea of boundaries as setting expectations is also helpful. So let me know in the comments, and certainly subscribe if you want more of these coming straight to you. And thanks a lot. And if you have a question for Ask the Mothers, don't hesitate to email me. I can keep it confidential where the question came from, and I'd be happy to answer your question. Thanks.